So this channel and many others has been reporting on the Apple iPhone Fold or iPhone Ultra that's be coming out soon, as well as the Samsung Wide phone. And you know what? We've been all wrong about the Ultras. Every tech viewer, news article, and I'm going to prove it. Let's go. So the Ultra moniker is not something new. It's been around for a long time. You got Samsung using the 20 series Ultra, phone for their flagship phone that has the S Pen built in. They've been using that for a long time as their Ultra. And then, of course, we know Apple's been doing it for years as well. How do we know? Well, we've got the many different MacBooks. You have your MacBook Neo now, which I believe is their baseline, and then you have MacBook Air, and then MacBook Pro, and then you also have the MacBook Pro Max, and then beyond that, you move into the Mac Studio, and then there's the Mac Studio and the Mac Studio Max and the Mac Ultra. Now, how do all these line up? Well, as you go down the line, you have the standard, the Pro, the Max, and then the Ultra. And then even with Samsung, you have the S20 series, okay? You have the standard phone, you have the Plus, and then you have the Ultra, okay? And they're all tiered that way, you go right on down the line. The Ultra being what? The top of the tier. And even Apple does the same thing. And now they're doing it with their phones. You have the base iPhone, and now they put right there in the middle of it the iPhone Air, and then you have your iPhone Pros, and then your Pro Max, and now they're going to have an iPhone Ultra. And then back to Samsung again, they have the Z Fold, and they're going to come out with a Z Fold 8, and then the Z Fold Ultra again. The next level tier. So now a lot of you might say, well, what about the cameras? They're only putting 2 cameras in it instead of 3. Well, guess what? These cameras are proven over and over again. They're 48 megapixel ultra wide and 48 megapixel main. Yes, they're in this phone and in the predecessors, and it's been proven that they are great top tier cameras. And they're going to put them in this one. So they have a proven track record of being great cameras. So this is not a step down. This is a step sideways, going in a new direction with a whole new genre. So these wide folds are going to be the top of their tier. Now the specs get even more controversial from here. Let's talk about those. Now these form factors and devices have never been seen before, the wide folds. So this is first gen by both Apple and Samsung. They're going to be setting the bar. And Apple in particular, they've never made a foldable before. This is their very first one. So yeah, it's got to be an Ultra. It's got to beat everything out there. Now this year, they may be struggling with a RAM shortage. So there's not going to be a RAM increase this year in any of their phones. Yes, the Pros and the Ultra are going to be down to 12 gigabytes of RAM. Same within Samsung, you're going to get 12 gigabytes of RAM. You're not going to move up. Even though a lot of the other manufacturers put 16 gigs, even Google with their Pixel. And of course, not to mention all the others, Honor, Oppo, all those Motorola, they put 16 gigabytes of RAM in there. But, that doesn't matter. RAM doesn't always matter. It's proficiency. And when we talk about proficiency, we're looking at the chipset now. So Apple is going to put their top branded phone that they put in their Pros in their Ultra. So we know it's going to be top tier as well, because they're going to have, what is it? Are they at? They're going to be up to what? A19 now? I don't even have an A19 in my Neo. It's only got an A18 Pro. So the iPhone Fold or the iPhone Ultra should surpass that. And then there's multitasking. Oh my gosh. So far, Apple only has the bar phones. So you give them a foldable that you can open up and have side-by-side multitasking like you can with their iPads and their iPad minis. That's incredible. That's definitely up there as a top tier device with that multitasking. You're not only going to have an iPhone in your pocket, but you're going to also have an iPad or a tablet in your pocket. If that doesn't put it above the iPhone Pros, I don't know what will. Now look, don't get me started on that name. A lot of folks out there, they get stuck on the name Ultra. They say, why are they calling it an Ultra? What hardware, what specs does it have above their Pros, or above their even standard like the Z Fold? What makes them an Ultra? Tell me, because a lot of folks out there, if you check out these channels, they get lost. They can't define what is an ultra. Well, I'm about to tell you exactly what makes those phones ultras. And in order to do that, we need to go back to our list. Let's go back to the beginning of this video. Check this out. You have the MacBook Neo, the MacBook Air, the MacBook Pro, the MacBook Pro Max. What's the difference? They all go up in price. Okay, so that's the tier here. And then when you look at the MacBook Studio, you have the MacBook Studio Max, and then you have the MacBook Studio Ultra. Check out the Ultra. Look at that price. It's higher than the rest of them. Then we can go over to the Samsungs as well. You look at the S26, for example, versus the S26 Plus, and then you get into the Ultra. Check out that price hike. You have the Z Fold 8, and then the Z Fold 8 Ultra that's coming out. Check it out. You've got the Z Fold 8 is that $18.99, same price as what we paid for the Z Fold 7 last year. And then the Ultra, check it out. That price goes up. Then we look at the iPhones. You have the iPhone standard. It's 18. It's estimated around $849. And then you have the iPhone Air. It's going up. And then you got the iPhone Pro, again, raising that price and raising that bar. And then the iPhone Max. Look at that price hike. And now the iPhone Ultra Fold. Look at that price, $21.99. If that's not an Ultra price, I don't know what is. So for all of those out there that really don't know what Ultra means, that is pricing, guys. It's Ultra pricing. Has nothing to do with specs, nothing to do with capabilities. A lot of times, yeah, you get that bonus of capabilities with it, like a fold and the multitasking, or in the Z Fold 8 Ultra, you're going to have that multitasking that you have with the Z Fold 7. You got the extra cameras that you have with the Z Fold 7. But you know what I mean? It's the price. That's what's ultra about all these things. So Apple cannot help themselves but to call it an ultra because of the price. And same with Samsung with their new Z Fold 8, because it's going to be more expensive than the standard Z Fold 8 wide. So they have no choice. They have to call it an ultra. So there you have it. Now you know what an ultra is. It's the highest priced device in the lineup. Forget specs. Don't talk to me about specs. It's the price. Now it's time to hear from you. Was Ultra actually what you thought it was? But a lot of you were thinking it was specs. Didn't realize it was price. Tell me what you think about this video. Leave it down in the comments. If you got something out of this video, do me a favor and smash that like button. Even if it was just entertainment. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more real content and entertainment. Until next time, have a wonderful day and God bless.